Well, it's Raven Tactical back again. Posted a couple of the things that was able to upload. It's hard to upload where I live just because of our slow internet. So it's easier to upload during the week when I can get access to a little bit of faster bandwidth. A couple things this week, I guess, or today. I guess one of the things would be how do you take GPS for granted? Global positioning satellites, the ability to know where you are and how GPS works. So as far as I'm understanding, there's 3 or 4 major GPS units. The one that's in Europe is the Galileo setup. Galileo handles, I believe, all of Europe and maybe part of the Middle East. Well, right now, because of all the hacking and all the ability to jam, they're thinking that the Russians or Chinese are jamming the GPS grid system over the Middle East with a really powerful device. And what it can do is it affects air travel. It's affecting air travel. It's affecting even your ability to, if you were over there, to accurately figure out where you're at. It's kind of scary to think about it that way, but if you even think about it on this side, if someone were able to jam, if this is just a trial run, if you were able to jam up the GPS or mess it all up, people would be lost. People don't know how to read a map anymore. People have drones. People have how much air travel is coming over here. Helicopters, personal aircraft, personal drones, all of that is GPS guided. I mean, Google Maps. Everybody uses Google Maps. One of the weird things I seen on there was the fact that they can actually do what's called spoofing. So they can actually spoof your GPS signal to fool you thinking that you are in a good spot, but the reality is you're in a bad spot. Maybe you're not where you think you are. So I mean, a couple examples would be the potential thing where the Iranians a couple weeks ago shot down a U.S. drone. They claimed that we were in their territory, and we were claiming that we were perfectly fine in international waters. But if they had spoofed the signal, that's a pretty devastating thing, where maybe air travel could be that way. If you were to look back during the very end of the Cold War, there was a Korean air jet, or passenger jet I should say. It happened to have the wrong radar signal, or a similar thing happened where it wasn't receiving the right beacon, and it shifted into Russian airspace. Excuse me. And because that had shifted into Russian airspace, and it was similar to a CIA surveillance drone or a surveillance aircraft from a distance, a Russian pilot actually shot it down and wound up killing 300 Koreans. And it was kind of an international incident. So, I mean, these are the results of actually having that kind of problem. So, I mean, not just being able to say, hey, you're out and about and you're traveling the country and you suddenly have no ability to get back because Google Maps has no idea where you are, but I mean, your aircraft, if you're flying internationally, could go, into the wrong area. If you're flying near hostile territories, or they're trying to fly around in a certain area, it could direct you into the hostile territory. I mean, think about it for like Somalian pirate kind of things. They're having to go around all this to save face from getting attacked, but the reality is, what if it pushes them in? They don't realize where they're at. I mean, traditional map reading and traditional, I don't even know how aircraft or Navy does it because I'm not involved in that. I don't know how they would actually do the map reading, the manual map reading, the manual guidances. And those ships kind of could use, back in the day, used to bounce it off radio signals. But, I mean, that's just some of the things that you got to think about. We use GPS, like our group uses GPS. Is it the primary thing? Yeah. Why? Because it works. But we're also doing map reading and grid coordinates and using a Lensatic compass. You can pick up the exact military Lensatic compass for about $50. And it's good. It's really good. They're very sensitive. They pick up the magnetic north very well, but they're also very sensitive so that you can't really have metal in them. That's one of the things that I will put into the tabletop down review. but being able to navigate where you're at, being able to have a map. I mean, I would include all your cars, no matter where you're going, to have a map of the location you're at. I usually throw a trucker atlas map in all our cars, especially when we're on vacation or if we go traveling across the states. Why? Because I think it's important. I mean, yeah, technology is great till it goes down. The grid is great till it goes down, right? I mean, power is amazing, and it's instant. But like I said, if you don't have the GPS, or GPS is down, or it's getting completely hacked, you could start seeing things that are pretty crazy. The second thing, though, I have to really put out too is, if there were to be a war between superpowers, you're going to see it in the GPS. You're going to see it in the satellites. All the major powers have the ability to shoot down satellites. And Russians and Chinese have basically developed ways of attacking satellites. I mean, you're going to see a complete shutdown of not just a GPS grid, but you're going to see the ability to do spy satellites, or the ability to actually have communication through cell tower satellites. You could essentially, if it went full crazy, they could start taking out everything. Both sides are going to take out everything. I mean, if any other, North Korea's have been able to get stuff launched into space too, so there's stuff up there. So, I mean, you have military hardware out floating around, in space. And it's kind of crazy if you think about it, that you'd have attack satellites, or you have the ability to shoot a laser into a satellite and destroy it. So, I mean, these are the things you got to think about. Communication will be big. But how do you communicate if you can't even use a cell phone, right? So if your layers of communication and skills where you use GPS, cell phones, and that was your top tier, well, now what do you do without that? Well, now you have to go down to radios, but ham, if you want to, for the better or for the worse, ham is tough. Not so much to get the license, but ham is tough to communicate accurately to the same people. Like, if it's in your area and you have repeaters and whatnot, it's cool. Like, you could probably do that. But if you're like 3 states away and you're out of your area, sometimes it's not. I mean, especially the long distance stuff. Ham for the long distance, for the most part, is the right atmospheric conditions and getting everything to bounce correctly to hit something far away. But it's not there tomorrow, so it is very difficult. I would look into getting people in your group who are ham qualified with the general and technician licenses. Do I think everybody needs it? Absolutely not. I think the concept of ham radios is excellent, but the concept of having to have a government regulated license to operate something on the airwaves is a little kind of a taxation and theft. I mean, it's our airwaves, right? And so, I mean, you can always get the equipment, listen and learn. So that's important as you're going through it. Trying to find some people that are in ham clubs to help out or teach, or maybe even join your group, I would kind of keep an eye out for that. The equipment isn't always that expensive. Some of the stuff that our ham guy was able to purchase was secondhand, or we find things that are a little bit reviewed well and decent quality. I would say avoid the Baofengs, just for a couple of reasons. Baofengs are a disposable radio. They're garbage as far as they go when they're $25. Maybe there's something that you can use to learn on and kind of get used to it. But a Baofeng to me is one of those garbage radios that I've never had good luck with them. They work or they don't work. And do you want a radio that when you really need it to work is locking up, or the display goes out, or it gets wet so then it gets damaged, or you drop it and the battery casing gets cracked? For a little bit more money, you can get a lot more radio. HYT makes a really excellent radio for about $150. A lot better radio. Your entry-level ICOMs are probably really good as well. The whole militia gear setup of having you know, comms it all over and all the radios and antennas. Yeah, that all works. But I'm going to kind of end it there without going into too much of a radio rant. Just kind of keep a peace of mind of what's going on. The whole GPS thing, that is kind of scary. If this is a premonition to war or just maybe kind of a test the field kind of thing, then yeah, maybe when you're going about and traveling, keep an eye out or keep an extra map in the car. So, well, it's Raven Tactical out. If you like it, hit the like button, subscribe, and well, thanks for watching.